We're all talking about the burnout epidemic, right? But what if the answer isn't just about finding balance? Today, we're going to dive into a smarter, way more sustainable way to think about our work and our lives, and that's called integration. Oof. Does this hit a little too close to home? You know that feeling, right? Being endlessly tied to work, where your real life feels like it's just on pause. It's a scene playing out in homes everywhere, pretty much every single night. And if you're nodding along, I really want you to hear this. That feeling of just complete exhaustion, where the lines are so blurry, it is not a personal failure. It's an incredibly widespread experience, especially for a generation that was told you can have it all. You just have to hustle a little bit harder. In fact, the scale of this is, well, it's kind of staggering. Get this, a recent survey found that 1 in 4 Americans hits their peak burnout before they even turn 30. We're not just talking about a few rough weeks at the office. This is a systemic problem. Now, a lot of people think burnout is this big, sudden crash. But honestly, it's rarely like that. It's more of a creep, a quiet, gradual thing that just builds and builds over time. It's the Sunday scaries that start on Saturday afternoon, or that feeling of being totally drained by meetings that used to actually get you excited. So what are we really talking about when we say burnout? Well, the World Health Organization gives us 3 key signals. First, there's that deep emotional exhaustion. Second, a growing cynicism or mental distance from your job. And third, that feeling that you're just not as effective as you used to be. It's basically your mind and body screaming that the stress you're under is just not sustainable. For years, the solution we were all given for this problem was work-life balance. But here's a thought. What if that very idea, that concept of balance, is actually part of the problem? So the whole idea was to keep work and life on these 2 separate, perfectly even scales. But come on, in our world today, with notifications buzzing in our pockets 24/7, trying to keep things perfectly separate just creates more stress. It feels like you're fighting this constant, unwinnable battle against imbalance. And this quote just nails it. Life isn't static. Our passions, our families, our big ambitions, they don't fit neatly onto some scale. They are dynamic, they're messy, and they naturally unbalance things. And you know what? That's not always a bad thing. This chart really lays out the huge shift in thinking we're talking about. Look, we're moving from a goal of separation to a goal of connection. Instead of a stressful, constantly tipping scale, the new metaphor is a blended, sustainable rhythm. And that just feels so much more realistic, doesn't it? Okay, so this brings us to the main event, the integration shift. This is all about ditching that old myth of balance and finally embracing a more fluid, more realistic way of living. And this is so important. Work-life integration is not about giving work 24/7 access to you. It's the exact opposite. It's about you intentionally crafting your own rhythm, one that lets you show up for your career, for your health, for your relationships in a way that actually works. All right, let's do a quick little exercise. Take a look at this. Imagine you are that blue circle in the center. What are the other circles in your life right now? Maybe one is your career, another is family, maybe your health or a creative hobby. Just for a second, what are the key things pulling on your time and energy? Just naming them is a huge first step. In integration, it goes way deeper than just what's on your calendar. It's really about 3 kinds of balance. Yeah, there's time balance, how many hours you spend. But then there's involvement balance, like how present and engaged are you really? And maybe most importantly, satisfaction balance. How fulfilling does each part of your life actually feel? I mean, you could spend 2 hours at dinner with family, but if your head is still back at the office, you're not getting time or involvement balance. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? Let's get practical. Here's your integration playbook, 4 key strategies to make this reality for you. First up, match your tasks to your energy peaks. Are you sharpest in the morning? Do your deep focus work then. Simple. Second, define and fiercely defend your off hours. Seriously, if you don't protect that time, nobody will. Third, we have to normalize guilt-free rest. And finally, build routines that are flexible, routines that can bend with life's chaos instead of just breaking under pressure. This one requires a huge mindset shift. Hustle culture has drilled it into us that rest is a reward you get after you've pushed yourself to the absolute limit. That is just plain wrong. Rest is an essential ingredient for being creative and productive in the long run. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Oh, and here's a really common trap to watch out for.
We tell ourselves, okay, I'll focus on my health until this big project is done, or I'll see my friends more after I get this promotion. But life is happening right now, not in some imaginary until in the future. Don't postpone your own well-being.
And here's another one, especially for all you high achievers out there. A lot of us are really, really good at coping, at just enduring tough situations. But that endurance, it's a superpower you should be saving for a real crisis, not using it as your daily default. Just because you can tolerate an unhealthy situation doesn't mean you should. Now, while all these personal strategies are total game changers, we have to be real. This isn't just on you as an individual. The environment you're in, your workplace, it plays a massive, massive role. The best organizations, the ones that get it, they foster integration. They offer things like flexible scheduling. They trust their people with hybrid work models. They provide wellness resources that are actually useful. And most importantly, they have leaders who model healthy behaviors themselves, creating a culture where it's actually safe to prioritize your well-being. So, all of this, it leads to a much deeper question. This isn't just about rearranging our schedules. It's about fundamentally changing our definition of what a successful life even looks like. We've been taught to believe that being busy means you're important, that productivity equals purpose. But this quote, it just invites you to take a breath and think, what if a good life isn't about a calendar packed to the minute? What if it's about intentionality and connection, and maybe just a little bit of peace? And that is the thought I really want to leave you with. What if we stopped measuring success by how completely drained we are at the end of the day and started measuring it by how aligned we feel with what truly matters to us? What if success felt energizing, not depleting? That, right there, is the real promise of work-life integration.